If you could see a map of my brain from 40 years ago, it would look like a battlefield. It was crowded, noisy, and exhausted. I was worried about the mortgage. I was worried about whether my boss liked my presentation. I was worried about a comment a neighbor made at a barbecue. I was worried about my hair thinning, my car's engine, and whether I was keeping up with people I didn't even like. I spent 80 years being a professional worrier. I thought that if I worried enough, I could somehow prevent bad things from happening. I thought worry was the price I had to pay for a successful life. But standing here at 80, looking back at that battlefield, I realized something that almost made me cry. None of it meant anything. 99% of the things that kept me awake at 3 a.m. never happened. And the 1% that did happen? Worrying didn't make them any easier to handle. I traded my peace for a pile of nothing. I traded my joy for shadows. Please, before you spend another night staring at the ceiling, listen to me. Let me show you what you can stop worrying about right now, so you don't reach 80 with a heart full of wasted time. The heaviest thing I carried was the weight of your eyes. Not yours specifically, but theirs. The collective them. The neighbors, the colleagues, the strangers at the store. I spent decades worrying about my reputation. I wanted to be seen as stable, successful, and smart. I bought clothes I didn't like to impress people who weren't looking. I held back my true opinions because I didn't want to cause a ripple. I lived my life in a cage made of other people's expectations. But here is the truth you only learn at 80. Nobody cares. Everyone is too busy worrying about their own life, their own flaws, and their own reputations to spend more than a second thinking about yours. I spent 30 years worrying about what the neighbors thought of my lawn, only to realize they didn't even know my middle name. I wasted my freedom trying to please a crowd that wasn't even there. Let go of the need to be perceived a certain way. Your reputation is a ghost. Don't let it haunt your life. I used to worry about the what-ifs. What if the economy crashes? What if I lose my job? What if I get sick? I lived in a constant state of preparation for a storm that was always just over the horizon. I treated my life like a bunker. I was so busy reinforcing the walls that I forgot to look out the window. And do you know what I found out? When the storms did come, and they did, they never looked like the ones I worried about. They came from directions I didn't expect. Worrying is like walking around with an umbrella up on a sunny day because you're afraid it might rain. You miss the sun, and you still get wet when the storm eventually hits. At 80, I realized that I survived every storm life threw at me, but I didn't survive the worry. It ate me from the inside. Stop rehearsing for tragedies that haven't happened yet. I worried about enough. I was constantly checking the bank balance, the square footage, the investment portfolio. I thought there was a magic number where the worry would stop. I thought that if I could just reach that peak, I would finally feel safe. But the peak is a lie. The more you have, the more things you have to worry about. I worried about getting the money. Then I worried about keeping the money. Then I worried about what people would do to take the money. At 80, I've realized that enough is a state of mind, not a state of account. I have less now than I did at 60, but I am infinitely wealthier because I stopped worrying about the more, the things that meant nothing, the status symbols, the luxury upgrades. They were just anchors. When I let them go, I finally started to float. Don't spend your life building a mountain of things that won't keep you warm at night. I spent years worrying about my children. I worried about their grades, their friends, their choices. I thought that if I worried enough, I could curate a perfect life for them. I thought my anxiety was a form of love. It wasn't. My worry was a burden to them. They didn't need a worried father. They needed a present one. They didn't need me to solve every problem. They needed to see me handle my own life with grace. I worried about things that meant nothing, like whether they went to the right college, while missing the chance to just sit on the floor and play with them. Now they are grown, and they don't remember the things I worried about. They remember the times I was stressed and the times I was joyful. Choose joy. It's the only thing they'll actually take with them. When you stop worrying about the big nothings, you finally start to see the small somethings. Because I was so worried about the future, I missed the present. I missed the way the light changed in the autumn. I missed the taste of a home-cooked meal because I was checking my watch. I missed the sound of my wife's laughter because I was thinking about a bill. At 80, those small things are the only things that have any meaning left. The taste of a ripe peach, the sound of a bird in the morning, the feeling of clean sheets. I spent 80 years looking past the miracles to worry about the mundane. Don't be a tourist in your own life. Stop looking at the map and start looking at the view. I am 80 years old. My time for worrying is over, not because I have no problems, but because I finally realized that worry is a thief. It steals your time, it steals your health, and it steals your capacity to love. I spent 80 years worrying about things that meant nothing. Don't do that. When you feel that familiar knot in your stomach, ask yourself, will this matter when I'm 80? If the answer is no, and it usually is, let it go. Empty your hands of the nothing so you can finally hold on to what is real. Thank you for listening. If you're ready to stop worrying and start living, please subscribe. Like this video to help it reach another tired soul. And tell me in the comments, what is one thing you're going to stop worrying about today? Let's help each other let go. God bless, and breathe easy.